I've planned to play Twilight Imperium, and people haven't turned up, and you go, sure, okay, well, let's play something else.
Let's do that. Come on,
people.
tonight's stream is Twilight.
I don't think we can get Twilight Imperium into the stream. That'd be an epic. I've planned to play Twilight Imperium, and people haven't turned up, and you go, sure, okay, well, let's play something else.
Let's do that.
Board games is what we're going to play. Board games to finish off our day. We are finishing off today by having a bit of a play. Hey! So I am missing Jason's big bingy bangy thing.
The bingly bongly. The thing that he's doubtless got a very technical name for.
I have a metal bowl. I can bang on something. Here we go.
I mean, I can make a complete cacophony if that would suit, but yeah, I wouldn't go as far as calling it music.
Well, just to let everyone know what's happening tonight, it is Tuesday. It is just after 8 p.m, which means, as we've done every Tuesday since middle of March, we are trying out some newish games. By which I mean tonight, the plan is, hopefully Casey will get here in the next wee bit, and we're going to try a new party game from them, Concentration, which is all about, we learn a category and then we've got to go around in a circle shouting something that fits that category. For example, airlines. And then going round clockwise, I'd say KLM.
Delta.
Lufthansa.
Oh,
Bez?
you got clockwise mixed up, Andrew.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, we've both had one, so it's your go.
Okay,
KLM, Lufthansa, and Delta.
British Airways.
American.
EasyJet.
Ryanair.
United.
TWA.
Turkish Airlines.
Emeritus.
Qantas.
Oh, yeah. And at some point, someone's like, yeah, that's
hesitation.
And I get a vowel, and that is the way the game works, basically.
So I'm going to be very bad at that game. I don't think very quickly.
How do you score for this one? Is it you score a point for being the last person who successfully named a thing in the set?
Yeah, you're scoring negative points, basically. You're scoring points
you score for being the person who fluffs it. Right.
And if you say something that's completely wrong, then I talked to KC, and we've not got an exact rule for how to do the check if something's correct, but let's say if instead of KLM I said JKLM, someone could say, oh, that's wrong, in which case we would check it, and either it is wrong, in which case I would get a negative point, or the person who called it is wrong and they would get a negative point.
Okay, false accusation. You could debate TWA, for example, because TWA doesn't exist anymore, but it was an airline. So
the question didn't specify when, so yeah.
It didn't, so I could have carried on with BOAC, BEC, and Imperial if I'd wanted to.
Man, you peeps know so many airlines. What's up with this specific
I'm
knowledge?
a transport consultant. Who made you think that was going to be around you could win?
I've lived on three continents.
Yeah, so have I. Yeah. Well done. Yes, both of us have done that. Yes, in fact, we've lived on the same three continents.
Anything to do with travel.
Yeah. I have lived on your starting continent because we were posted there. My father was posted there, and I've lived in the country you currently live in because my father was posted there.
I wasn't considering Germany a continent separate from the UK.
Oh, good point. Oh, dang.
I meant Africa as the third. But nice try. Thank you for playing.
And other game.
I wasn't saying I was totally awake, but you're right. Okay, I've lived on 3 land masses. Can I claim that one?
Yes.
Plus Africa.
So other than concentration, we're also going to try out 5 MELL, and for 5 MELL, we're going to play with the L deck. You're working on 5 words at once, and you want to, at the end, at some points in the game, have a 1-letter, 2-letter, 3-letter, 4-letter, and 5-letter word. You are allowed to skip letters, but it's the first person to get all 5 of those words made.
I can't
and we have 5 lines. It's going to either be a train wreck. I can't decide with 5 mil if it's either going to be a train wreck or if we're all going to close out on 15 and go, yeah, that was easy. It's going to depend on the cards.
I don't even know 4-letter words. Like, that's just outside of my vocabulary.
I believe in you. Oh, thank you, Prey.
Apple.
Yeah, this one's the very early art for the categorical deck. So my plan for this is to redraw the basic shapes, hopefully tomorrow, and then get Chris to kind of scan stuff and redo it, and then going to start on some coloring maybe in a couple of weeks' time after we've gone through all the L games for the competition entries next week. And then, yeah, I kind of decided that's going to be a Monday, Wednesday thing, if anyone's curious. So hopefully some people who submitted some games will want to see them. And anyway, let's not get too distracted. I've not even introduced anyone. We have myself, Bez. We have XATE, the analytical gamer and designer and developer.
Sure.
And we've got Andrew Dennison, the ponderer of Risk.
Occasionally. But, I mean, the way you described XATE would apply fairly reasonably as well. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much how I play games.
You're me?
I mean, yes, I pretty much gathered that. I thought we established that earlier when we communicated entirely in binary for about 20 minutes.
We confused Jason for a while.
Yes, until he realised what we were doing.
Sorry, Prey, I kind of missed the context of your question. Oh.
Context is everything. What was the question?
The question was at this time.
About
that is who we currently are at this time, yes. I would agree.
We are, or were, at the time that we were when that question was raised, but I'm not sure what it related to. Perhaps Prey will clarify for us.
Did we eat too much sugar collectively before this stream?
Not enough. Definitely not enough.
Shall we start off with some quick rounds of 5 mil and see how it goes?
That sounds like a thing we could do. The elk deck, the Canadian version of Wibble. The elk deck games. Will it be at this hour? Yes, we're about to play. I think they mean, Bez, are you going to do the Monday, Wednesday thing at 8 o'clock too, or is that going to be in your 10 o'clock in the morning slot? That's what they're questioning.
I see. So the Monday, Wednesday things, those are going to be earlier. The plan is for me to do my normal 10 a.m. live stream and then finish maybe a little bit earlier than usual, maybe like 11:20 or 11:15, and then have a bit quick lunch and then get Layla and Chris, and we'll all sit down and set up the overhead camera for maybe 12-ish. I don't want to set a definite time, but I will. Yeah, it's going to be at 12-ish, so noonish. So basically 8 hours ago. So 8 hours ago from whatever.
It will be 8 hours ago.
It will have been 8 hours ago.
Yes,
It is 8 p.m. here in the UK, and it will be 9 p.m. where XATE is, I believe, if I have this correct.
When did you get your TARDIS so that you would know that what will have had happened? I'm really curious. And I come on your next trip.
Oh, guys.
I mean, we could just get Kathleen Mercury in here, throw in some West Coast, and then Heather, and just how many time zones can we add to the stream?
I really want to watch the whole thing, though.
Yeah. Does anyone even know which time zone Nigeria is in when KC turns up? I'm guessing it's going to be.
Yeah, it's your time.
Is it? Okay, I'm going to say it's either us or it's XATE. One of the two. It's sort of downwards, isn't it?
Yeah.
On the map. Downwards. That's
And you're very well.
Otherwise known as south.
Otherwise known as south.
Let me put a pin in this, if I may.
No, we're on a complete tangent, and you're not permitted. This is now the stream.
This is now the Andrew
control. I've lost all control of my own stream. I'm shutting it down. I'm shutting it down.
You realise that doesn't stop us.
I'm shutting it down. Yeah.
That's us told then. Okay, 5 mil. Sorry. I'm being serious. Okay, right. Yeah, deal the cards.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how kind of long I could keep it actually shut down for.
Before it would die. Also,
yeah,
I'm now
before
XATE,
you would just
and
be
XATE
like,
is now
well,
me.
I'm just actually going to go out of here. Okay, so 5 mil. You need a pen. You need
Check.
a bit of paper.
Check.
Draw.
We're doing well so far.
Little lines on your bits of paper. These
Check.
are going to be the lines upon. Oh, so you say it's just to warn you. You don't need to decide which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth. So
No.
you could put an I.
You can grab the A when the A comes up, stick it on a line, and either keep it to be an A or expand it to an at or an ant or
exactly.
an about or an
and if
but.
you got at, you could exactly 8 or
Save?
Yeah. No,
it's a proper noun. It's not allowed.
It is not. Right. It's a type of palm tree.
Okay, fine. So long as we reference the palm tree and not you, it's not a proper noun. In your context, it's a proper noun.
I pick up a card, you choose one of these letters, and you write it on one of your lines. And then I will choose another one, and then you write it either on a different line or to the right of the first letter you wrote. Every new letter is either going to be written on a new line or to the right of every letter you've already written on that line.
Okay.
Whenever you want, you are allowed to skip a card, but this is a race game. So if you skip all the cards, you'll definitely lose. If you skip nothing, if you manage to, within 15 cards, manage to make a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 letter word, you'll definitely win. But will anyone manage to do this? I have no idea.
I will not.
Yeah, so nobody can win before we see 15 cards. And yes. Have we any form of tiebreaker in the event that we simultaneously close out?
And must the words be in English?
No. But you need to know what they mean.
Yep. Do I have to know what they mean if they're in English?
Yeah.
Oh. I thought that might be a good loophole.
That's a kind of general house rule for these games. You can use any words you want in any language, no proper nouns, no names of people, places, or companies, unless, like Apple, it's also the word of an actual thing, if you know what I mean.
Fruit. Really? Hence, XATE the palm is allowable, XATE the person is not.
Yes. But how do you know I'm not a palm tree? Have you seen my Facebook?
To be honest, most palm trees don't talk to me as much as you do.
Maybe you're just not very social. I mean,
it's possible I've met a bunch of unsocial palm trees. Yeah, I can't totally eliminate that. But then again, I can't technically prove you exist. So
I do not.
So shuffling gets up, and pray you can totally play along as well. All you need to do is get your paper and the 5 lines. I hope that makes sense. And if you're ready, we are going to start.
Initiating cheater sequence now. Go for it.
Oh, why?
That's not a good starting card. I'm going to be honest.
I hope that my secret army of cheaters is helping me.
Is that with 2 E's in the middle or an AT? ET. Cheaters or cheaters?
Well,
okay, so choose one of these letters and write
palm
it
trees
down.
have cheetahs. Cheeto eating cheetahs sometimes.
Now the next one.
Yes, I wrote a letter.
Is
I succeeded too.
Or H?
Oh, that's a harder one.
For me, this is an easier one.
The S seems good, but then H can be useful.
So for me, I put E for the first one because I was thinking yo and yeah, they're pretty good words, but E, I guess you've got et and end. But for this one, I went with H.
I'm not judging by the goodness of the word at all. I'm going to whether it gets the letters done quickly enough.
The goodness.
The always goodness of the word.
I always want to have some goodness. Oh, that's not nice.
Oh, take the I. Surely you take the I. That's a gizzit one word that can be expanded out to an is and at an it.
Well, I did take the I, but I didn't want to take the I. I wanted something else to come now.
I mean, I want £1 million, but
I want the same letter too many times. I don't think they're going to come up.
Okay. Boom.
Oh.
I got a 1-letter and a 2-letter word.
Well, good for you.
Thank you.
I also have letters.
I have as many letters as you have.
Wow, well done.
The next one is S or X.
Oh, that's my card. That's the best card.
Yeah, this X really needs to be...
I apologize in advance. Yes, we went there.
Like I said, that's my
Trey
card.
also had 6, apparently.
I don't.
I've got I, sex, and E. If I had I, sex, and U, it would be...
I have yes to your my 3 letters. Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, darn. I'm turning my 1-letter into a 2-letter word. We will see how that goes. R or W. Boom. Okay.
Oh. No, those are not what I want.
Not so much.
Fine.
The R seems helpful. I'm gonna take a punt on the... Although R doesn't easily convert into something else.
Well, don't take the W because I already did that, and it's probably a bad idea because I took it.
But because you took it, if I take it too, then it's a 0-sum game between me and you. Of course,
yeah, but
Bez
we're trying to knock Bez out, and the best way to do that is if we work apart from one another.
Her,
True.
Is, and E. What E still needs to be turned into a word.
I'm not sure Bez realizes at this point that we're basically trying to figure out how to beat Bez.
That's the point of every Tuesday stream, isn't it? I mean, I thought that was a given.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah,
I only came on because of that. H or T?
T or H? Ooh,
those.
Ooh.
There's so many H's this time. There's only 5 H's in the game. Why do they all keep coming up?
I'm going to use a German word. East.
Say it in German.
East.
And what does it mean?
Is.
The marbles.
Darn, you got it right. All right.
I was about to say, the French and the German and the English aren't all that far removed.
No, I was hoping Bez would claim it means to eat, because there's the word ist with the scharfes S in the middle, which is to eat, and a lot of people get that confused, and then I was going to be able to say, nope, you're wrong.
I mean, to be honest, both English and German do horrible things to the way
I
the rules are written.
L. Okay, I'm putting down another I, and I need to keep this as my 2-letter word. As my 1-letter, I think.
Was that I or L were our options?
Yes, I or L.
That's evil. I don't like this. It's very bad.
Still not an A or an O.
Yeah, where are O's, please? I would like an O. I'd like to buy an O.
R or B?
What's up with the B's?
Don't know.
I'm out. Can I claim I'm out?
No, because mine's worse.
You can skip.
Yes, at this point, you can. If you don't like the letter, you can just...
You can always skip.
Do you give an X, or what do you do to skip?
No, you just
Nothing,
skip.
just don't take the letter. I tend to make a little
bit.
mark next to my pad just so I know I skipped a card, just so I confirm.
Yeah, that would kill me. That doesn't fit anywhere.
Now I've got
No, I'm with you on that. That is a poor fit.
Thought you didn't make it to
can we discard? Like, if we didn't like some...
No discarding.
No discarding. Okay. I was about to say, if we realise we've gone up a blind alley, we can't. Prey would like another H.
Of course,
we've had that card.
Y.
We've had that. Oh no, we had E or Y.
I feel like
I think that's in a couple of years. You know, probably around the 5-year anniversary of the L deck, I'm going to look at the pairings again, because there's reasons to believe that Y should not be with a vowel.
Because Y is implicitly a partial vowel. It's the debated 6th vowel, isn't it? Why is to vowels what Pluto isn't to planets?
I like that comparison.
I just went there. You know that.
No, I think you've had that one. You've been preparing to use that one for some time. You
reckon?
It's like on a stick-it note stuck to your computer monitor, and you're like, the next time Bez brings this up.
Yeah, people don't realize the amount of prep I put into these streams. I have gags just waiting here, just pages of
R or M.
No.
You're not using either of them?
No. No, it's gone badly.
I can't think of
thinking
hey,
of
people, I'm not definitely not cheating with. Is there a word that goes WHIR? Quick, help!
Whirl, 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 as in whirlpool.
Do the people I'm cheating with agree with me? I'm not cheating. I would never cheat. I definitely don't have a secret army of people giving me words in English.
I know that's a German word, but I'm really hoping to have imp or something.
Wait, can you show me the last card again?
I'm beginning to feel I should learn French again properly so I can cheat at this game.
R or M.
Why didn't I think of that?
Multiple languages isn't cheating, it's just a skill.
In fact, actually, I'm going to learn Polish or Welsh because both of them defy all normal logic of English spelling, and therefore I'm clearly going to get away with all the ZX's, Q's, and...
Okay, are you ready for the next one?
No.
So the people I'm cheating with said I can use R, so I'm not going to steal Bez's word and go with
S
M and
or G.
Steal a German word from an American.
I've got my 5-letter.
I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I can't make a 5 because I skipped one, so I guess I'm done. Right?
No, you will make it eventually. We're just going to keep going through the deck.
I thought you said there was a 15 card.
No, at 15 cards somebody can win.
Is the soonest that we can do it.
Oh, I thought we got
at 15.
15
No,
cards.
no, it's just at 15 cards, you're sort of under the gun, as it were, because once we pass 15, somebody might win. So we've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think we've had 12 cards, so we've still got 3 cards to go before anybody could plausibly win.
A! Boom! 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 Oh man,
I am in
so
favour of an A.
And
I am prepared to accept an A and work with it.
Okay, person I'm totally not cheating with. We have HA, and it's the only line we have available to us. I'm totally not cheating.
I'm beginning to wonder if the person is real, or a figment of XATE's imagination, or if there are, in fact, legion of people following XATE. Because if they're following you and cheating with you, they should be here.
Like, hey man, what do you think?
I was about to say, if we have lots of people helping you cheat, surely they should be watching the stream. That's all I'm saying, you know.
Yeah.
They may or may not be watching the stream.
Oh no.
N sounds like a safe bet. Do you agree with me, cheater?
N does sound like a safe bet.
I've got to skip this one. This is my first skip.
Can we make a word that's longer than 5 letters?
No.
No, it needs to be a 1, 2, 3, 4,
exactly 5 letters. Okay.
Yes.
Because I can't think of a word beginning TAN that ends in 5 letters.
I've got to wait until the RS. I think.
I need DS or something else that makes Han into something better.
I need help.
I know you do. We've known this for a while, and we wanted to talk to you off stream about it.
There's a palm tree. No. There's a palm tree giving me psychological advice, so I need help.
How is that a third B? Aren't there?
I'm thinking that one.
There are 3 Bs, aren't there?
No, there's only 2 Bs. I thought.
How many Bs?
There's 4 Bs in the deck.
Okay, well, me and XATE are both wrong, so that's fine.
Tangs. I'm not going to tell Andrew that Tangs would work. Why should I help Andrew in that way? You're cheating for me, not for Andrew.
Tangs would totally work.
Did I say that out loud? Oh. Wait, show me the card again. I was busy not telling Andrew.
I was busy giving Andrew his word, not mine.
I'm going to take that S because I don't know. Now I definitely need a certain letter to make a German word.
Cards. Come on, R. Come on, R.
E.
What? No. I'm skipping again. I just need an R. Come on, there's so many R's. I just need an R.
I'm kind of blocked on that one as well. Let's.
I just need an R.
I've got 2 skips. Now
I'm on 4. Just don't go with that.
I could do T, and then I need another S.
Can I get a vowel, please, Bez? Like an E. Anytime soon, an E. I'll accept an L if you can't, find
I would
an
also
E.
take an S.
Next one is
HAN.
O or F.
No.
I've got to skip this one.
Hendo.
O or F, you say?
Yep. I mean, where are you, peeps? I'm basically waiting for my final letter. So I've got my 1, my 2, my 3, my hoping to turn this into my 4, and that's
I'm either waiting on a 3 or a 5, but I can't quite figure out which.
Wait, can you show me that last card again? Show me that last card again.
O or F?
Wero isn't a word. Okay, I just realized that I didn't have to make the fourth word 4 long and the fifth one fit. So I have 2 words I could expand, either hand or vir. How do you?
I think I've lost. I'm going to go with I've lost, unless the cards now fall very handily for me because I'm several skips behind.
Yes, I'm done. I'm done.
Really?
Yes.
Darn. Oh no.
I have a 1, a 3, a 4. I've got everything apart from my 5.
XATE's 1. XATE's 1. Let's see your sheet.
You have to see it? You're not going to be able to read it. So, oh, I can't see myself. Where's myself? Here we go.
Wait, Priya's done as well.
I is yes, where, and Hände. It's German for hands.
Fair enough.
Nice.
I do not have a complete set. I have a 1, a 2, 2 3s, and a 4.
So nice.
I was waiting on table, or well, it was going to be table because I'd run out of other ideas. Unless I could find somewhere expanding low, but then I'd have had no 2. So
you needed 2 more letters to get.
Yeah, I needed 2 quite specific 2 letters. Yeah.
I needed 1 letter to make it eat. Wait,
it felt like we didn't get many vowels. I want to say we had less vowels than was statistically probable there.
You're welcome doesn't count as abbreviation.
Oh right? No, it means ye. So Prey mistyped
that. Typo.
Okay.
I-E-Y. Okay, so what was our score? What was the actual overall score of the group? How many cards did we see? Because this is now the world high score for 5 MELL. So it's
oh wow. I feel like a champion. And Aquasulis isn't even here to witness it.
Yeah. It's nothing to do with the fact we've never played the game before.
Definitely not, no.
No.
It's a championship
the
round.
Answer?
You 2 both won with a score of 19. Well done.
Which 2? Me and Prey?
Yeah, I lost. So
I thought Sam.
I demand a recount.
I feel it should just be, well, you both win.
I can't think of another way to do it.
I guess Prey only used English. No,
yeah,
first person to declare is lame.
But at the same, because you've still.
I got it only because I was looking for if 1 of 2 letters come, I win. So if someone else is actually thinking to make a cool word, then.
Fewest languages used, because apparently in this group we're now allowed to use every language going. So
I only use 2 of the languages I know. I feel like that's, reducing my chances slightly. And Bez, to be fair, also used German, so you can't even put that one entirely on me. It was Bez's idea.
1 and 0 aren't in the deck, so I'm screwed on binary.
It's another go, now that we all know the rules, and see how it goes.
Yes, I'm prepared to get it wrong twice. That's absolutely fine.
No, I'd like to go out on a high. Can we play something else?
Okay, let's try one more time. Okay, so doing the 5 lines and starting again.
That's the easy bit.
Yep, I'm really good at drawing these 5 lines.
I don't even bother half the time. I just.
I actually did put my words down on the spaces that I had prepared for them instead of flipping it around like you said I could. Yeah.
Glad you're enjoying it, Prey. So, shuffled them a bit, and the first letter is O or H. Well, I know what I'm picking.
Oh,
yep.
Oh.
That's a no-brainer.
Cheetah, what are we doing?
O is one of the 3 one-letter words, so,
How is O a one-letter word?
Because
brother, where art thou?
Okay, so we can even use Shakespearean English.
I mean, it's English.
All right. I do have a Shakespearean insults kit laying around here somewhere. I'm sure I can find some good words in that.
Okay,
they're
so
probably longer than 5 letters.
First letter. Second one is O or V.
Glad I didn't take the O the first time.
I reckon I can live with 2 O's. Oh.
No, you can't move letters around. Why did you think you can? Did someone think? Did we do something to make you think you can move letters around?
You pick one of the lines and it has to stay on that line. Once it's on that line, it's on that line.
So I put the O, and then once you've written it down, you can only write to the right of it. right to the right.
Where's my camera? There we go. I have HO
Unless
going
you're
on.
playing in Chinese, in which case you can write it from the left to the left if it makes you happy. But you must proceed logically across the page.
So if I write my word in Hebrew, I can start putting the letters on the other side?
No,
can you write Hebrew in Latin text?
I can.
Okay. T or G?
No abbreviation.
T or G? T or G?
Yeah, definitely taking a T.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like T is the stronger choice. You know, you can have an R. Well, you can have an H, which you can't have after a G.
Can't you?
You can have whatever you want after a G. You'll just lose.
Don't feel constrained to actually spell correctly.
N or Z?
I know I am, but I'm going for
one letter and a two-letter.
Yeah, I'm feeling this is the strong play, because that could become one, or it could stay as on, or it could become only, or...
Nah, I'm doing it completely different for you guys. I've got the
only you are relying on a Y, which there's only 2 of in the deck.
I'm not. Yeah, it's an option. It's an option.
I mean, I would say if a C comes up, that could be a good one because there's a whole bunch of E.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
more O's.
Okay.
I'm gonna go NO.
Is this the card you've been dreaming of?
No.
No. I went in. I did.
For once.
NO and T. My 3 words are NO, T, and HO. Just letting my cheetah know.
You maverick, you. Whereas me and Bez are doing the same thing.
So. I don't speak English though, and you guys do. So I guess
Further proof you don't exist because you think you're speaking German right now, and I'm hearing English.
Maybe you have a battle pitch.
It's possible. It's small, yellow, and doesn't exist.
Boom. I've got to 1, 2, and 3.
Yes, I surprisingly have done much the same. Oh no, we've deviated now. I've gone with 1.
I'm going HOP.
Ooh. I feel like
I have finally split.
One because you can pluralize tools.
I'm gonna go for my hopes and dreams on this one.
Pre's got on H and 2. So presumably,
that's a shame because we've had 6 letters.
Down the E or P.
I was about to say, we've now got E or P. Yes, I was about to say we seem to.
That was the last one.
Okay, now Prey only has 5 letters.
Exactly. There we go. See, there's my hope. My hope is coming to fruition already. Thank you.
You see, now I have to decide if I'm going to do something iffy.
So far, this is easy.
Oh yeah.
I'm just going to pretend and act confident, and you'll believe me. The more of Andrew's head we see, the more of Andrew's head we see, the more we know that we're doing well. When it gets down to like this, you're just like.
Next card. By the power of Grayskull. S or H?
I will take that S. Ooh, or that H.
S and pluralize
Do I want the H?
I'll wriggle my toes.
I feel me and Bez may be sinking back up again.
TH is always a good thing to do.
Yes.
And there will be more S's.
Less useful in German than English, I would think.
Yeah. But my cheetah's only speaking English, so if I'm gonna take advantage of the zoo, I might as well.
Yeah, it's a thing.
E or K. Everybody knows that you need to now use an E or a K.
Yes. H-E. Awesome. Glad I took that H.
I'm wondering if OK is a word, and I'm pretty sure it is a word, because I'm pretty sure it's not an
spelled
abbreviation.
O-K-A-Y, though?
Is it, though?
It is actually spelled O-K-A-Y.
You see, I'm going to gamble that the Collins English Dictionary, which is written by an American, thinks that it's spelled OK.
I'm German. Are we still buying that? When did we forget that I'm German? Okay.
Okay.
I know you're German. I'm just gambling that the Americans who wrote the dictionary decided that OK was a word.
There's my S. Okay,
yes, OK is a word. So there we go. I'm good. I'm having it. And I have find myself a new one.
Know the hopes. That's sounding kind of
This is a
deucer,
sexy card. This is a stylish card. Also, I do think that...
Can't be with Andrew on that.
What did I do?
My British cheetah is agreeing with you.
Yes, quite rightly, because they're looking at the same Collins English Dictionary I am, I assume.
T or H?
Ooh, interesting.
Then or not? Which word should I make
Both are
first?
correct, Prey. You can use either of them. There is either of the spellings is acceptable.
T or H? Okay. I'm
Not
going for a
hopes.
whole new word.
It's very
I'm
depressing.
hoping to make a 5-letter with that.
I feel like this says a lot about me today.
Not the hopes.
Not the hope.
If you can add an I somewhere above that, you'll the question level will rise enviably.
I or L.
I not the hopes.
I'm hoping to make the word am next.
I am not the hopes.
I am not this. Or I so not the hopes would also be appropriate.
It's a pity you can't make steel there, Bez, because steel would have been really useful.
Yeah.
An I and an L. When did that card come up? Because I've just been staring at it for 2 minutes without doing anything with it.
Wait, is this a new I or the I that I already wrote down for I?
I believe that's a new I.
Been here for quite a while. It might even be the first ever I we've had.
I believe it's the first I.
I just wrote it down. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I just took it.
Next card. It's
having joked about XATE needing an I.
A or L?
Yeah, I am not the hopes. I said so, right? Hey.
A or L?
Yeah,
I've got to see if I can turn star into a 5-letter word.
Currently, it's only a travel agency.
Could win on 15. Let's all see.
I'm gambling.
Next one is N or U?
Yes. IA, not then hopes. Come on, hold down the right letter next time. I'm good.
N or U? Okay, now U. Has everyone done this?
Yeah.
The potentially final card is
NSM. Yes, done.
Really?
I think I might be done.
Yes. I as not then hopes.
Let's see. Whoops. Wait.
I am also
done.
I
as not then hopes.
I am also done.
Wow.
I have OK, one, toes, shans, and I.
One toe. That's
one toes, which is an abuse of the language in and of itself. Shans is a word I never even knew, but there you go. I thought it might be something. Shan. I was like, what can you do, Shan? And Shans, a group of people who live in the Asian, a group of Asian peoples.
Are you cheating? You're like currently on the dictionary, not just like you look it up if we challenge you, but you're getting your words that way. That seems
no, I haven't been getting my words that way. It's just we've always allowed that if you can keep up with the flow of letters in Sui and Formal, you can check a definition in the dictionary. I was waiting on something like shant or shank, and then I got an S, and I was like, "Is a shan a thing?"
Kind of cheaty.
Oof! Ruling on the field.
Yes, you are, Mac.
I mean, to be fair, you have a whole extra set of cheaters. I'm cheating all by myself.
Hey, if
you can
offend to my friends playing along, then you should tell it to their face. Come on, tell it to their face.
You need to try harder.
He's opposed to you.
I'm not opposed. I'm just, my dictionary is inanimate. Yours are marginally similar.
They're also on a 30-second delay and sending me advice after I've already written things down and moved on to the next card.
That's a lot of latency between you and something 2 feet to your right.
So, Prey, you're only 2 away from finishing. That's not so far. I mean, we all did pretty well. I mean, I only dropped 1. Prey only dropped 2. And you two actually did perfectly, getting it on the 15.
It can be done. We do need a ruling though. Are we allowed to use the dictionary whilst playing? As I say, I have strictly I've assumed the derivation of the rule set for 3MELL and 4MELL, and therefore allowed myself to check a word that I think might be a word.
I did it without checking, so just saying.
Fine, okay? I came second. Then you can win. It's fine. I'm okay with that. I've learnt a new word.
I feel like
Shan are a group of people who live in Myanmar, Thailand, and Southwest China.
Check the dictionary once a turn. I don't want people to take the mickey and be like, oh yeah, I'm checking 20 words. That might happen to be a thing. But if you can check the dictionary quickly, do it once per turn. That feels reasonable to me.
Yeah, I mean, they're all meant to be educational games. So, that's half of the joy as you learn new words. I now know the word Shan.
That works fairly well because we're playing over the internet, but how would you translate that to if we were playing on the table together? Everybody suddenly has their phone in their hands or their laptop beside them?
I mean, I think you should ban phones and go with the traditional method played by the family over Scrabble, which is anybody who can get to the dictionary first and stop the other people taking it off them is entitled to check whatever the hell they like.
So full contact 5MELL.
We've played twice now. Nate has won twice. Andrew has won once. Prey has won once. And so I'm not good at this game.
I believe XATE said the declared intent was to stop you winning. So, clearly that's, the developer of a game can never win. That's how it works.
Oh, come on. That's not true.
No,
I won at Aquathulis' game against them all the time. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I have won Elemental Ascent at least twice in 50-plus playtests in a 3-player game. It's a curse. As soon as you start developing a game, you cease to be able to play it competitively. That's how it works.
Whereas before you developed the game, you were able to play it competitively?
Now, we've gotten to the end of 5MELL. We've played it a couple of times. What do people think of that? And Prey, I would love to hear what you think. Quick, not overly long. Andrew, what did you think?
Yeah, I think we need a different name than 5MELL in some ways because I logically infer if you published 3MELL and 4MELL, 5MELL would be. You would make the mistake I did. Yeah, I like it. I feel it is deeper than I first thought it would be. I thought it would be relatively easy, and actually, it's not necessarily. Yeah, if it was too easy, I had a way of making it harder, but I'm not convinced it is. Yeah. I think maybe you should be allowed to scrub stuff if you've made a complete error, just because it's possible. I think possibly to be reliant on a letter that's very rare or something, or put yourself in a position where
you can start as many lines as you want, because if you're starting a new line, you're just going to disadvantage yourself anyway.
Yeah, rather than discard letters, that's an interesting one. You'd have to play it a few times, but yeah, I feel like there's a possibility of sort of 10, 12 letters in, if you're careless, accidentally sort of bookending yourself, and then some way out of that might be useful. But yeah, that's more for people who perhaps aren't as familiar as playing these sorts of games. We didn't do it because we all roughly know what we're doing. So yeah, I liked it. As I say, I think we just need a different name to make it separate from the number MELL series. What that name should be, I have no clue.
Or something.
Sunk MELL. Yeah, race MELL. Yeah, raceable. Maybe.
XATE, what did you generally think of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think for people who enjoy word games, that this is a good one.
Okay. And
what? That was a very positive statement. I don't understand your laugh.
It might be the English hearing of it.
So apparently Mac Rencefel
may or may not be a cheetah.
Mac Rencefel may or may not be a palm tree. Or a set of slightly deceased flowers.
And I'm glad that you enjoyed it, Prey. I guess probably what we need to do is, because the rules are not quite finished, it's not ready to be instantly upgraded to a Thursday. I don't think we've ever had something except for right at the start of this stream's life where we've gone, yeah, that's instantly a Thursday game. But
and because we have an increasing number of Thursday games, it gets harder to qualify. Potentially.
You have to prove that you're not a cheetah in order for us to believe that you're not a cheetah.
Like, can a cheetah type?
Have you ever seen a cheetah attempt it and fail? I have never seen a cheetah fail at typing.
It's true. I have not seen this either.
So, remind me, XATE, are you needing to skedaddle at 9?
Yes, always.
You always, or 10, in fact, at XATE's end. But yes, that.
Right. I've started referring to all times in UK time zone, even though I live in Germany.
All times Zulu, henceforth.
I post things on social media, and I'm always like, this time UK. I don't know why.
I went through a period where I did everything in Eastern American.
One can change one's spots, though.
Oh, thanks, Brie. Come back on Thursday, and we will be playing another word game at the end of the evening, although that might potentially be after 9, depending on... We normally play a party-style game and a word game. But let's talk about recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights. Recent highlights. I want to talk about bubble tea.
I am so surprised by this. No.
What?
So,
this is a new bi-weekly thing with Bez.
Clarification: fortnightly or twice weekly?
Twice weekly.
No. I'm much more knowledgeable at this point. Yes, I'm in no way confused.
Basically,
it's got to be better than garlic mead.
To Camden to get the bubble tea, and I got what is known as a Panda Crushed, which is Oreos in bubble tea with ice, and then it's all crushed up.
I was imagining something much more Dooster when I heard Panda Crushed. But okay.
Why do you keep throwing the word Dooster into English?
I don't know, but it's working because you understand me now.
I do. Just for those who don't know, Dooster kind of means morbid or grim.
Yes, we never have a dark sense of humor around here at all. It's not happened ever.
Never.
Now, recent highlights. Andrew and XATE, would you care to share your recent highlights?
You've only given me 47 hours since we last did this. No, 53.
I was on this morning.
How intensely packed do you think our lives are?
Kind of a soda, and there's little tapioca balls. So, actually, what I had with the Panda Crushed was little balls that are called the popping balls. So it's like a thin membrane, kind of like paintball. Not like paintball because it doesn't. You can't actually eat it, but it's designed to explode. So you put it in your mouth, and then it pops with that little bit of pressure when you squeeze it in your mouth, and it's cherry popping balls. Oh, so good.
The stream is down waiting to see if Meals 8 dies first. That's all that's happening.
This is my recent highlight. The last 2 minutes where Bez described their recent highlight.
I've all the drinks I drink have become obsolete and it's obviously too simple. So yeah.
You can enjoy your drinks. You can enjoy simplicity. Look, check out what I'm having now.
I'm laughing.
Appears to be water
or vodka.
Or vodka. Yeah.
I swear it's his water.
Drinking it like that, it probably is. Either that or you have some Russian in you somewhere that we're previously unaware of. Could be either. Recent highlights, I don't know. No, literally, there hasn't been enough time between now and Sunday. Nothing significant happened in the last day or so.
And
I was going to say the 20 minutes prior to the stream, but then Bez went on a rant about balls.
It
just...
And that they pop, and
These cherry popping balls are amazing. I don't... Have you not had cherry popping balls in your mouth?
No, I can honestly say I've never had
popping balls on my tongue, in my mouth.
No balls. No popping balls. No, I don't. I've never had that experience.
Prey's got something. Thank God for that. Quick, talk about Prey. Everybody look at Prey. Nobody look at me.
Interesting. And winning Habba games at Gen Con Online. That sounds awesome.
Winning the playing of the game, or winning the game to have it sent to you as a gift because you won it type of game? What kind of winning? Like, are you getting the Habba games? That would be cool.
What's a Habba game?
The company
Habba, as in...
They do like children's games.
Oh, of course. Sorry,
with the yellow boxes, Animal Upon Animal and Rhino Hero. Great stuff. Yeah. These Habba people are awesome.
I was thinking it was an acronym.
Stuff in Nuremberg in February. Like modern technology that I shouldn't really be talking about because I was let into a secret area. I'm not even saying that.
What type of secret area were you definitely not let into at Nuremberg? Can you not tell us a little bit more, please?
Well, I just walked up and then I said, "Hey, I'm a designer. I'd like to wander around." And then they said, "Okay, well, because Nuremberg." It's not like London Toy Fair. London Toy Fair, they just basically let anybody in. But Nuremberg, you need to kind of show some... Basically, if you've got a business card, they let you in. Actually, now I think about it, that is pretty much letting anybody in. So basically, if you make up a fake business card, you could probably get in.
Actually, Google you. See if it comes back as a thing, you know. I mean, my credentials are at best tenuous at the best of times in terms of gaming.
Prey did both.
Nice.
But now, I would suggest, before you leave, we play 1 or 2 final rounds of concentration.
Right, naming airlines. Sorry, that game. Yes, I'm with you. I wondered why they didn't come back.
This time we're going to be naming German pronouns.
Good. I lose. Next round. I could probably dredge some up from my 1 year of German that I learned.
Let's name flavors of bubble tea.
I don't drink bubble tea. That's even worse.
Wait, Andrew, we've got this.
Peach.
Okay. In all seriousness, okay, I've got it. Things that you can wear. Okay, I'll start. Pullover.
Bra.
T-shirt.
Pants.
Shoes.
Skirt.
Trousers.
Glasses.
Dress.
Leggings.
Headset.
Socks.
Tights.
Helmet.
Underwear.
Flip-flops. I mean, we've already had bra and
pants.
Oh, if you meant pants as in underwear, then I'll say pants as in jeans.
Okay, sure.
Either way.
No, I've already said trousers.
But trousers and jeans are not the same thing. Trousers are pleated like corduroy.
We may have a challenge now. How do we determine this?
Like khakis or something, and jeans are made out of denim.
The specificity
this is where we kind of have to open it up to the other person, I guess. I challenge XATE, and so now I open it up to everyone in the comments and Andrew Dennison.
So we're deeming that underwear has already been covered off.
Yes, are jeans and trousers the same thing? Or is XATE allowed it?
This is where also British and American English gets complicated, because I assumed when you said pants that you meant literally pants, and you meant underpants, which would not be the same for me.
There being no Americans present, we therefore didn't allow pantsers to be...
Well, then I can say all of my clothing items in German.
Yeah, you see, on that basis, I'm going to rule that jeans are too similar to trousers.
They are not the same thing, or no...
I'm going to rule that had somebody said jeans and somebody then said khakis, that would be admissible. But because somebody said trousers first, naming a subset of trousers is not admissible.
I don't know. The judges have spoken. We said we were taking it to the...
I mean, we've got one each. I mean, if Prey is still in the chat before you head off, there's still a couple of minutes before 9. I mean, if Prey's still there, You could, but regardless, I think that it does make sense to let XATE go. And so I would like to ask you before you go.
She'll leave anyway if we don't. So, it's not like you've got a lot of choice there.
Yeah, I can't actually physically restrain you.
None of you currently can.
Not currently, no. I mean, if it would take us time to set that up. So
I mean, in the future, maybe somebody.
Yeah, it's an
option.
Let
me know.
What?
What is something you're looking forward to?
Looking forward to. We didn't do the song. How can I? How do I know that?
I have a song.
Ambitions is over to you for this final section. Looking forward to hopes and ambitions. It's over to you for this final section.
I'm looking forward to the Lizapalooza stream in 1 minute. Like I said, every time we close down this segment.
That's cheating. Then again, I keep saying a certain annual holiday.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
okay, fine. I'll say I'm looking forward to playing some games on BGA tomorrow.
Yeah,
awesome.
I've got a socially distanced socially event thing on Friday that I'm kind of looking forward to. Yeah, that'll do.
Well,
Thursday. I'm looking forward to Thursday.
Bye.
Bye, Zate.
Kicking off. Bye.
So we never did actually work out whether XATE did kind of win or not.
Yeah, it's a tricky. As I say, I think if the generic item is named first, then you can't name subsets of it. But if only a subset has been named,
the difficulty is one of cultures, isn't it?
Well, yes, and it's not something that would arise in most households playing the game. If a bunch of German people sit around and play the game, they will play it in German. If a bunch of Americans play the game, they'll play it in American, whichever. The problem here is we're playing cross-culture and internationally, so yes, somebody can say pants, and most of us hear underpants, and then one person hears trousers. So
I was quite impressed by how well it works with 3 people. I mean, it seems to me like it would actually work fine with 2 people if we had some idea of categories.
Yeah, it works with any number of people. If anything, it's probably harder as it gets longer because you've named less of the words, so you have to remember more other words. If there's 6 people playing...
Well, as it goes higher, it's probably going to be less pressure, but...
you've got less chance of losing each round.
Yeah.
More people. There's 5 other people. If there's playing with 6, there's 5 people who can screw it up before you have to think of a new word. Whereas 2 people, yes, you have to play heads up. As soon as somebody gives a word, you have to have another one.
It's a shame that Casey wasn't able to make it. I'm assuming that they've got internet issues in their parts of Nigeria again, by which I mean Abuja, or rather the NIBCARD game cafe. I mean, yeah, they do sometimes have a bad internet connection, is the way of...
I mean, yeah, we've got people in this country who are struggling with one, so it's that's the nature of the internet, isn't it? At these times, there's always going to be.
This morning, people are going to
get stuck. Yeah, it comes and goes. I think again, it's just because of COVID and everything. There's just a lot of load on the system, so it's not surprising that we get dropouts periodically in busy areas and at certain times of the day. Because again, we play this not quite peak time, but just after peak time each evening, UK time. So, yeah, it's
would you be up for playing like first to 3 with the 2 of us? Maybe I'm going to say cards just based on just using these as inspiration, not making it an LDEC game. Just
what game are we playing? Sorry,
KC's game, concentration.
Oh right, okay, yeah. So we're picking a topic, are we? Okay. What's the topic?
I was thinking cars.
Cars. Okay.
Yeah.
And as in names of cars or types of cars? What are we specifying?
I meant as in
Ford
car
Cortina?
Manufacturing people like Ford.
Okay, manufacturers. Okay, Seat.
Okay, Hyundai?
Skoda.
Ferrari?
Renault.
What?
Renault.
Oh, Volkswagen.
Mercedes.
Range Rover.
3. Ooh, Chevrolet. 3, 2.
Vauxhall. No, that's
Vauxhall. Yeah. Technically, they're a derivative of General Motors, which is Ford, but I'll let you have it. Honda.
Jeep. No. Jaguar.
Jeep or Jaguar. Okay. Kia.
Oh yeah, that's a thing. I don't know.
Bong. And I've still got Toyota up my sleeve, and I've not. You're playing a transport engineer at naming cars and airlines. You really need to play better hands.
Okay.
Obscure Euro games would be one you've got a much better chance at. I feel.
Okay, let's do Euro games because there's a new one discard.
Okay, Catan.
Okay, Amerigo.
Power Grid.
Puerto Rico.
Agricola.
Caverna.
Energy Empire.
Is that just because you've heard me talk about it recently?
No, because I own a copy.
Oh wow, you enjoyed that game as well. I love that game as well.
Yeah.
Oh, we should play it together sometime if you come over.
Yeah, definitely.
But Manhattan Project, like the original.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I might be screwed now. I don't have that many Euro games because Loz doesn't like them, and you need 3 players for most of them. I've lost that one. Yep. No, you can win that one. If you can't win Euro games, we've got a problem. In the same way as if I can't win cars.
Okay, do you want to pick something?
Ooh.
I was thinking paper sizes, but that would be ridiculous.
I mean, A4.
Seriously?
I don't know. Yeah, letter. We could go through that one sometime, couldn't we?
I mean, technically,
Penguins. Rockhopper.
King.
Emperor. Biddly bing.
I don't know penguins.
There's like 20 types of penguin. This is true. Google. Look, here you go. We need to show people how many penguins there are. Google penguins. Types of penguin.
There are I'll do it on Wikipedia because I've established that it's always okay to show.
Wikipedia. Yes, there are a great many different types of penguin. This is a true thing. I think there's at least 20 might be an exaggeration. I want to say there's over a dozen types of penguin.
I believe you. So I am.
This reminds me of our sharks discussion. How many types of shark can we put in the swimming pool? How many types of penguin?
So would we have that? Which one?
Ooh. I don't even know. How would you find the long list? It's a good question. Ooh.
Which penguins? Oh, there we go.
There you go. There's different types.
So there's
King penguin,
Great
Emperor penguin,
Adelie penguin, Chinstrap, Gentoo. Oh yeah, Gentoo. I should have known that. Little blue Australian little white flippered penguin. Magellanic.
Yeah, from the Magellan Islands.
Anyway, there's a lot of penguin.
There are a lot of penguins. There you go. That was just. I like penguins. That was just.
You've won twice. I've won once, and it's an O and an F. And
your choice.
I mean, I can't just do French. Also, it shouldn't be something which there's thousands of.
No, because that could run forever.
Okay, let's do. I'm actually going to solicit some ideas.
Could just draw another card. We're not honor bound to use the card. If that doesn't inspire, just draw another card and see if that gives you. Newspapers.
Newspapers.
Okay.
Daily Express.
Daily Mail.
Sunday Telegraph.
Star.
The Daily Sport.
Metro. It's a valid
Sunday
newspaper.
Sport.
I mean, barely. I.
Evening Standard.
New York Times.
Yeah, we'll go highbrow. Sunday Sports.
Financial Times.
Sunday Times.
Sunday Telegraph.
Oh, I had that one up my sleeve. Australian Times.
Okay, Dillamode.
Le Monde. And you are allowed to challenge something if you don't believe it's an actual thing.
Evening Standard.
No, I said Evening Standard.
Oh, have you? Oh, okay. Apologies, I lose that one. Sorry, I forgot you'd said that one. Yep, I was thinking Metro, and there was another one. Yep, that one's yours.
Boom!
I assume I lose by default when I use one you've already used, so, you know.
Hey, David.
Yeah, we should have started with English newspapers. Operas, oh God.
Should we just do operas because David's brain suggested it?
I lose. I can only think of about 3 total. So.
Well, you don't know how many I can think of. Okay, start.
This is true. Phantom of the Opera.
Figaro.
Rigoletti.
The Barber of Seville.
No. I'm sure I should know more, but no, opera is a whole vicinity of culture that leaves me cold.
I'm not sure if Figaro is an actual opera. I'd have to...
I'm only semi-convinced on Rigoletti, but yeah.
Figaro and opera. Oh no, it's the Marriage of Figaro. So if you had challenged
I'll let you have it. Yeah, I'll let you have it. I think you were close enough. Yeah.
But you needed to challenge it. That's the way we're playing the game.
True. Yeah. I should challenge yours rather than try to think of one. Yeah. David's getting 30 seconds behind. David's just heard us finish the first couple and then lose.
Yeah, just to tell you, David, with YouTube and Facebook, there is like about a 5 seconds lag, whereas with Twitch, there's about a 1 second lag. And so it's slightly faster, but I mean, it matters more for games like this, but I think we're going to call it early, even though it is super, yep, there we go. David's just a lot more cultured than either of us, I feel.
Certainly in the opera sense, yeah. That's the thing, is it's different people's hobbies. And again, it's interesting, therefore, actually, depending whether you had the things on cards or whether you nominate. Because if you nominate, then logically, yes, you pick something that's your specialist field. I name trains, aeroplanes, cars, London Underground lines, things like that. And David might pick operas and you might pick Euro games. And which in a 2-player heads-up game, logically, you should always win your own. In a 4, 5, 6-player game, then there might be somebody who's equally good at you. Or even if there isn't, you should not lose your own hand, but who wins who fails your hand is still determinate. Because
I would have been interested to play Casey's version to see what cards Casey came up with. I feel like it would be a much nicer game with topics being well curated by a designer rather than, admittedly, we are game designers, but we're not able to put the amount of thought behind it that we would do if we were actually designing and developing the game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's one of those, because it's always tricky. This is, and again, it's one of those games. It's like all these party games. They're the games I always say is, what is it justifies it being a printed product? What is in that box that once you've got the concept in your head, name a category and then keep naming words? What's unique about the content of the box that makes that a purchasable object, that makes that a desirable thing? And some people will do it just because they like having the game and it's easier. But at the same time, you've got the reductive element that once you know there's 200 cards in the box, if you've played that game 10, 20 times, you've seen all the cards. So then next time you play it, you've got a better idea. So I now know another 2 operas, for example, or newspapers. Well, so does the replay value stay the same?
That's not a terrible thing. Frankly, I mean, I play categorical, and each time with categorical, it's slightly different because you're naming at least, you're battling over 48 things. And those topics are meant to be so open that you will not only be able to think of things, but think of things that start with one of the letters in the L deck.
Yeah.
But with categorical, as I've played it more and more, it's like, oh wow, I've learned more artists, or oh, I've learned more foods things that start with U, or I've learned more foods that start with V. And to be fair, I only need to know one V ever, but because there's only one V, but you get what I mean. And so I start learning more things, and I think that is part of the joy in a game, that even though it is ostensibly a party game, you can get better at it.
Yeah. It's just one of those, again, if you own the game, you inherently develop an advantage over time. But yeah, as I say, it's like looking in the dictionary. If it adds to your vocabulary, that's part of the point of a word game, so that's valid. Interestingly, if you nominated your own categories, there are some that also allow you to not cheat, but be clever. So, okay, here's a test. Adopting the convention that I get to nominate a category and use the same pick the first go, Monday.
No, but like concentration. By KC, there was a side rule that if someone challenges you, like the person who puts up the topic has to be able to name at least 5 things in that category.
I can name 5 days of the week.
Having said that, yeah, so if you say days of the week that aren't a weekend,
still 5 days. My point is, because it's an odd number, I can guarantee winning it. Yeah, the trick is I'm thinking of something of which there is a finite set, and because we're playing heads up, if I name the word first, I can guarantee that I will get the 7th say, and that you will then automatically fail. It doesn't apply to the way KC's playing it, but it was just an interesting concept of if you know the number in the group and you could think of something that has a defined number of things, so chemical elements. I mean, okay, there's 100 and something of them, but anything there's at months of the year. You could engineer a situation where it's impossible for you to lose the hand, unless you just completely fail to remember.
About continuing to enjoy pub quizzes, even though your knowledge is continuing to grow, is relevant, but it's slightly different, because I think that part of the when you're hosting a pub quiz, it's almost like each time you host a quiz, you are designing the quiz again. Do you know what I mean? Because every time it's on the host of the quiz to make good questions, to make stuff that people are going to enjoy watching. And
And to be fair, pub quizzes, especially if you have a current affairs round or something, there's always more to add to them. Whereas, say, chemical elements, the odds that a new chemical element is discovered in the next between us playing this week and next week is fairly small. So yeah, it's variable. I mean, again, any of these games, theoretically, if you have the all-knowing person, they're very good at the game. They're not directly a test of how clever you are or how much you know, but indirectly they sort of are. The person with the bigger vocabulary will probably win most of these games. The enjoyment is simply the funniness of doing it, or the fact that you do learn some new words, what have you. But yes, objectively, they are. I mean, this is the balance of skill versus luck, it's another one, isn't it? Because skill versus luck is the classic dichotomy, but you could argue this is knowledge versus luck, or knowledge versus skill.
Versus luck is a false dichotomy. I mean, Richard Garfield's already made this point with the example of rando chess. I don't know if you're familiar with rando chess.
I don't know rando chess. I'm aware of the arguments for and against that one, but what's rando chess?
So basically, imagine a game of chess, and then at the end of the game, you roll a d6. Now, on a 1, 2, 3, or 5, the winner of the chess game is the winner of rando chess. On a 6, the loser of the chess game is the winner of rando chess.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So basically, there is an equal amount of skill in rando chess compared to chess, because all the same strategies, all of that still applies. You're still using
the optimum is still to win the game of chess and have a 5 in 6 chance of winning the game of rando chess. Ergo,
there's just the point is that the amount of luck and the amount of skill, it's not one axis. It's a 2-dimensional construct.
Yes, it will be in most cases. Not always. So Ludo, for example, you could argue is a pure luck game. There is no skill to playing Ludo, unless you allow doubling up and selective decision making on
skill, low luck games. There's high skill, high luck games like poker. There's low skill, low luck games like Noughts and Crosses, and there's high skill, low luck.
There's no luck. There's no luck in Noughts and Crosses. You can't get lucky or unlucky. Both actors make an objective choice.
I meant no skill, no luck is Noughts and Crosses. High skill, no luck would be like chess. High skill, high luck is poker, and no skill, high luck would be...
Noughts and Crosses is low skill. You have to know the trick. You have to know how to win Noughts and Crosses. Candyland is no skill, no luck. There is one. It's determinate. Once you've dealt the deck, Candyland determines itself. Everything else, there is some skill or luck threshold. But yeah, it's interesting. But rando chess. Now, objectively, rando chess might still be interesting if you were to bet. So again, a lot of ancient games like backgammon. The game isn't itself fascinating per se. It's an interesting enough game, but the skill in backgammon is when you bet on it and you use the betting die and stuff. Now, rando chess technically subverts that. You can play the optimum chess strategy, but you've still got to account in your betting for the fact that you will only win, even if you're the best chess player.
Backgammon, I would say there's enough going on in backgammon. I mean, Alan Outson plays lots of that. My dad enjoyed backgammon there's a bit of nostalgia, but just growing up. And my dad doesn't even like using the doubling cube.
Right. You see, I like backgammon as well, but I mean, and I haven't usually played with the doubling cube and stuff, but I understand just as a historical thing that it's the sort of true interpretation, the in-depth version of backgammon relies very heavily on the betting around it. So again, rando, it was merely an example. Rando chess played as a betting game would have connotations. You'd have to play it subtly differently, the skill would be in how likely do you think you are to win the game, and how likely do you think the dice change the result. So what's your pot odds? What would you stake on a game of rando chess? Whereas what you stake on a game of chess is very obvious. It depends how good you are. So it's and again, poker, same. Poker, the best hand doesn't win the hand of poker. Anybody playing poker properly,
if betting, like a good system of betting, can increase the skill of any game. Like certainly any game in which there is enough chaos and randomness in the cards. Like, could such a thing increase the skill in? I'm trying to think of a Euro game now, of like Energy Empire.
Ticket to Ride. Yeah, name any.
Energy Empire. I mean, Energy Empire is a fairly heavy game, but it's undeniable that there's a good amount of luck in the way that the structures come up. And some of those achievements, some of them are just way better than the others. I really hate that fact of Energy Empire. I just
there's some where you house rule out. Yeah, you can lose the close game because you've got a shoddy one.
Talking to Layla for next game of Energy Empire, we've decided, after playing 4 games, there's just one of the achievements, the one that's basically how many workers do you have plus 1. That's clearly the best one by far.
Are you sure you're reading it correctly? Because it's -1. You've got 6 workers and you can score 5 points.
The best.
It is if your strategy takes you that direction. I have actually won a game of Energy Empire where I had 3 workers because I pursued a high power approach. I went nuclear and rolled a ton of tokens every turn. So I was playing 13 tokens a turn, and I got lucky insofar as I didn't get loads of nuclear contamination. So it was an edge strategy. I decided that I hadn't got the country I wanted and that the board position was poor, so I started going nuke. I rolled well, and then it paid off. One of the crummy ones is the one which gives you a point per power plant, because it only gives you 4 points. They will give you 5 points, apart from that one. The way we've house ruled that one...
the one per the extractor isn't... Are you sure that's not +1?
No, it's not.
I think
that would be one way of rule. It might have been in the reprint. There may have been a reprint. Our version isn't. But the way we've house ruled it. Yeah, the way we house ruled it is we just said you get a point for a barrel of oil.
You can get 5 with every one of them that I have. But the ones that I don't like are the ones that reward you for having pollution, because the pollution's costing you points. And so ideally,
it's a zero-sum deal. Why would you take it?
Just because it benefits you at the end, but also because it benefits you mid-game.
Yeah, it would make more sense if it paid off for your opponents having pollution. It would still be a screwy card or chip, but it would be objectively interesting then, because its worth would vary. But as you say, otherwise it's zero sum. At best, it's zero sum because you can cancel it out. So yes, there are some we don't deal. There are some we've house ruled. There are some we don't deal into the deck to remove that. And that's what most of our house rules are. Yeah, most of our house rules are things like that. It's just deciding there's a card in a certain deck or something we just don't like, and we just chuck it. But the betting idea
suggests that it wasn't that there was a tiny bit of development left to go in that game.
Maybe, or it suggests that they just were willing to accept. I mean, arguably, it's luck again, isn't it? Is the developer may have simply decided that they wanted a relatively high amount of luck. They wanted the possibility that you just turn a bad achievement, and you've got to work around that. Now, I think most players would say that they don't like that, but it's not necessarily an invalid design decision. If you'd, instead of saying all those achievements are worth 5, if you'd simply said they're worth between 1 and 5, and then they were fairly evenly distributed, you wouldn't question it. We only question it because there's a couple of crap ones. That's when we go, don't like the couple of crap ones, so we'll remove them, we'll house rule them. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Is that a development failure, or is that... again, it could also just be a typo again, if genuinely yours has a different...
is making it better for the target's audience. And who is the target's audience? That's always a question. And it might be that the target's audience is an audience that desires a bit more randomness than we do.
But if I was doing that, I would have made the cards, the achievements variable. I'd have made them between 3 and 5 points, say, so you could get a good one, you could get a bad one. But I wouldn't have it said there's a couple of... one really bad one, the pollution one, and then the power plant one I would have tweaked. But interesting, back to your core question, would a betting structure on that game somehow work? And how would you do it? Would it be a progressive bet? Each round you stake a number of points? Because if you did it within the game...
it could be like backgammon doubling cube, where basically what you're saying is like, okay, I'm going to, each round, if you want, I will bet some amount of money, and you need to equal this. And maybe it's almost... I wonder if there should be a penalty to betting. Like maybe you have to spend 1 energy to increase the wager. And so you spend 1 energy... You increase the wager. Literally be a slot
on the board. Yeah. Interesting. Would it make it more skilled?
A bit much, because then it would take an entire turn. I'm just thinking of wasting literally just 1 energy chip.
Or it costs you 1 point, 1 achievement, 1 tracker point. So to up your wager, you implicitly have to back yourself by saying, I'm well enough ahead that I can afford to take a point off the board and bet you. I mean, it'd be interesting. Yeah, it'd be interesting.
There is.
Does it change it though?
Intrinsically more.
Do you have to be able to fold? Because poker works, right? Because you can force people to fold. I can play you with the worst hand, and if I can convince you that my hand is better than it really is, I can get you to the point that you won't see my next raise. You fold, I won with a bad hand. But Energy Empire say, can you fold? Or is it just a case of the better, if you played multiple hands of Energy Empire?
Under the betting rules of Energy Empire, what I'm imagining is that you pay the price, whether that's an energy chip or 1 point on the points tracker, and then you say, okay, I'm so confident that I'm going to put another £3 on this game, let's say.
Yeah.
Or let's say we were playing a kind of more overall betting game of playing to 1,000 chips or something. And instead of playing hands of poker, or playing hands of Energy Empire. I mean, that sounds a lot longer.
Yeah, me and you play Energy Empire every day for a year. The result of any one game isn't that important, but over time, one of us may conclude the other is a better player, which would then influence our betting. And at the end of the year, it's who won more chips.
I'm going to track this many more points on it. Now, either you can say, no, I'm confident enough that I'm going to stake that many points on it as well, or you're going to say, no, I want to fold, and then I get everything in the pot. I think that it does change the game, because you do have the hidden information of the achievements at the start, and it does put it slightly into the bluffing area. But I would say that, yes, it does add skill. I think
and it also adds psychology. Again, even technically a straight-up game, even a game that's actually even odds for both participants, the psychological element, if one player can convince the other that they're on a hot streak or whatever, there is a proven effect that the other player may then play badly. They perceive they are losing, so they lose. So it adds a different dimension. But I mean, case in point, this is probably why a great many games in human history have contained a betting element. A, humans are fascinated by money, and B, it adds an extra layer of depth and complexity to something. So some games rely on it. Poker is very hard to play sensibly without betting. Energy Empire is entirely possible to play without betting, but nonetheless, it would be interesting to play a series where you did bet on it. That, and it does... Yeah. Betting is normally over a sequence, isn't it? So again, a game of Energy Empire isn't necessarily a good vehicle for a bet. We could have a bet. We could say, I'll bet you a $5 or the cost of the pizza we ate during the meal, during play.
A single game of Energy Empire is fine for a betting if the things that you're betting on matter in a greater context. Like if we were betting money, then there is still...
whoever loses has to pay for the pizza we ate during the game. There is now an incentive for us both to try to win the game. The question of whether we make the bet is, do we both perceive ourselves to be good Energy Empire players? I've never played you've never played me.
Let's say we were betting actual pounds, Great British pounds.
Yeah. So 20 quid says that I can win a game of Energy Empire.
Well, I guess there's also a difference in valuing of real world money. Maybe... For me, 50 quid, it's like, I just can't afford to lose that. So as soon as you put down 50 quid, I'm like, well, I'm going to fold just because I can't even afford to risk that. On the other hand, it does mean that if you've got two people of roughly equal financial situation coming to the same game, then, it's a case of, okay, I've already put in £5. If the person wants to increase it to £10, am I so far behind that I want to just give up the £5? Or do I want to risk £10 on it?
It's the same as in poker, playing Hold'em, for example. You have 4 rounds of betting, so has my hand improved significantly compared to what I perceive their hand strength is that I want to raise or not? The value of money one's interesting, though, because... the absolute one is the one you mentioned, which is if you have £99 in the entire world and I offer to play you a game of £100, you have to decline because A, you can't pay if you lose, and B, even if I accepted the 99 quid, you would be broke. So that's you can't do it. However, if I have £10,000 and you have £100 and I offer to play you at £99 a game, if you think you're very good at that game and I'm not, that 99 quid you can win is worth more to you, arguably, than it is to me. So at the same time, although it's a harder penalty to lose, it's a bigger reward to win. Table stakes vary. There's a good school of thought on poker. Case in point, I mentioned I read Anthony Holden last week. He holds that a good poker school competes for sums of money that all participants would find painful but not impossible. Losing a big hand of poker has to hurt, but it doesn't have to make you unable to pay your mortgage. And his view is that at a competitive level, that is the level people will choose to play high money poker. Is you should be able to afford to lose, but you shouldn't want to. So, I don't know what my levels that would be. I don't know. Going out and staking 100 quid on a night of poker would be, I wouldn't like to lose that money, but I could afford to. So is that the level of... But then the problem with that is you have to find a school of people prepared to play at that level. In reality, most people playing poker play for a £5 or a £10 and they play for chips, because it's a social game, and in the same way that poker requires betting, for poker to be played semi-seriously, it has to be worth something. So, okay, staking a £5 on a game of poker is arbitrary for me. I could make a £5 by doing my job. £5 to play 2 hours of poker is a really bad payoff. But at the same time, it's enough that it makes you play as if they're worth something. You won't just go all in for the sake of it because, you might lose. Or if you've got a bad hand, you will lose, and then you won't get to win your money. So... every poker game I've ever played with a group of people has always been for at least some nominal sum, in order that it doesn't just get silly. Unless it was drinking or strip poker. But even then, it's played for a nominal sum. There's a penalty to be suffered if you lose.
That sum of... I never really understood strip poker because I thought that... I don't understand the rules. I mean, I've not played it, but can you explain the rules? Because
you can play it lots of different ways.
There's one winner who collects the stuff. How do you decide who loses? Who's got?
Normally, strip poker, the sort of the simplest version is that there's no ante or blind, so you get dealt your cards, whatever version you're playing, stud or hold'em or whatever. Everybody gets to see their cards for free. then based on those cards, you decide whether or not you want to play. So hypothetical game, me, you, 2 other people. I don't have to stake taking my shirt off unless I think, A, I can win, and B, I want to make sure that somebody else in the hand. So again, let's say a game of 4 people where I only want to see one of them undress. If I act after them as we go around, I want to play the hand where I think that the cute girl opposite has a bad hand of cards and I have a better hand of cards. And I want to see her come into the hand, then I bet.
Is how, like, I do want this to be a PG-13 show, but how, if you're playing strip poker, how do you decide who undresses? Is it the winner of the hand who decides?
Yeah, no, the winner, everybody who loses undresses. The winner is the only one who doesn't undress. Oh. So everybody's stake is, if I lose this, if I don't win the hand, I have to take clothes off. So the strategy is then, as I say, everybody sees for free, so there's no forced ante.
Are you allowed to fold at any point?
Yes. So your choice in the first round, so we have, so hypothetical game, 4, or in fact 3 people. Okay, so 3 people, me, you, and a girl we both like. Okay, simple enough. The logic is we see our cards. If you know you've got a crap hand, you just fold it. You've got a crap hand, you're not going to risk taking clothes off, so you just fold your hand. If we go around, say you go first, you decide to fold, fine. Then she goes. If she decides to bet, she needs... I've now got the choice. If I think my cards are good enough, I can bet 2, in which case me and her are going to play the hand, and one of us is going to lose an item of clothing. If I think my hand's crap, I can just fold as well, and then nothing happens. But eventually what's going to happen is you're going to get into a situation where 2 people think their cards are strong enough and have an interest in making sure the other player loses, and they then play the rest of the hand. Now, it works better with stud.
According to game theory, there's no benefit to winning a hand that you don't just get by folding. Because if by folding you don't have to...
there is. That's the bit you've missed.
Consider your close your points. Okay, let's just abstract it away. We don't need to... We've basically got some finite number of clothing, which is points that we start with. We're trying to not get to 0.
But you're missing the point of strip poker. The point of strip poker isn't to win. The point of strip poker is to make the other player lose. The point of strip poker is to get the member of the gender you are interested in naked. So I am not playing to win anything. I'm playing to make sure that the girl I'm interested in loses that number of hands. My aim is the aim of every player is to get another player naked. Now, in poker logic, the question is, are you trying to get anybody naked, or do you specifically play your strategy to make sure a certain player ends up naked? And that also applies in also other games of poker. Is the aim to fleece the tourist, or is the aim to actually play a straight game of poker? Strip poker normally is played by people in a bent manner. They're normally trying to beat one player. There's one player at the table they want to see undress. So they will go into hands where that player is involved. Perhaps they won't go into a hand. If it's 2 blokes, they might both fold. If as a heterosexual male, if a man bids into me, I'll just fold. There's no point in me taking that bet. I have no interest in him winning or me losing. But if a girl I'm interested in is in the hand, then I might choose to bet. Indeed, if I really like her or I'm really interested in her, I might bid quite bad cards. I might go, well, actually, my pair of 7s looks pretty crap, but I'd quite like to see it.
Because you're willing to risk your own clothing to...
Yeah, and then also you get into levels of... And again, the reason it's funny and the reason people play it and it works for teenagers and stuff is there's that level of social awkwardness. This is the value of money. Does she... And again, the value of the item of clothing. If she's down to... If she's still got all her clothes and I'm down to my underwear, am I more afraid of losing my underwear for the possibility of getting her to take her shirt off? So the relative value of your stake changes. So that's how it works. Strip poker technically does work.
And then when you're naked, presumably you're out of the game?
When you've got no clothes to stake, you can't bet. So yeah, you, as I say, most people who play strip poker, you play it until one person's naked. That's the version I've always played. Now, if lots of people are in the final hand, then lots of people can end up naked. And you can play it in teams as well. So you can play it that, boys versus girls or whatever. So if any side bets, everybody stakes.
And of course, stuff by bets got us not suggest that anyone, coerce anyone into playing strip poker. It's
no. Every game I've ever played is because everybody wants to do it because they're willing participants.
As long as are all consenting, and as long as everyone's agreeing to it, I mean.
Yeah, and again, often played by teenagers because they have no money, but it's a way of having a meaningful stake. It's a way of playing poker in a social group that find it entertaining and have a meaningful stake without having money involved. That's where it comes from. In the same way that you can play it for shots. Playing for poker for shots is exactly the same. Every time you lose, you drink. Funnily enough, also, it has the added effect that as you play the game, you get worse at it. So it's like every drinking game. Losing an initial round makes you more likely to lose the next round, makes you more likely to lose the next round. Strip poker, technically, it doesn't change the odds. You remain just as good at poker no matter how many clothes you're wearing.
Well, you say that, but your embarrassment might lead to a kind of tilt effect.
Yeah, it might. Or it might, again, you might become less willing to bet. If you're down to your underwear and you're holding a pair of kings, you might still sit there thinking, oh, it's a pair of kings and I should really bet it. But, oh, maybe they've got a pair of aces and I don't want to lose my shorts, so I won't. Again, the value of the bet changes. So, but yes, there are different ways of playing strip poker, but you need to preserve the core concept of poker, which is you have to have somebody else bet into you to make it worth playing.
As interesting as this conversation has been, I think I would like to go back slightly to concentration we just played.
Yeah, how did we get off that subject?
Because it's dropped off, so of course we're going to get off that subject.
Yes, it was the theory that betting on something might make it a more skill-intensive game. Oh, yes, it was my comment that you could guarantee winning concentration by picking something which is a finite number. I can guarantee beating you at days of the week if I call first.
Then we had all sorts of went down the rabbit hole. And
so
concentration. I don't see how it can be a suitable game for Thursday nights, because I don't see how it can possibly involve anyone from the audience.
Tricky, yes.
I mean, I suggested...
oh, yes, because they've got a lag.
People in the audience being able to suggest things, and then those things are automatically disqualified from us. But then maybe they can only suggest things at a certain rate.
They can name the category. Oh, no, because if the cards are... If we're playing it, the categories get made up, the audience can nominate the categories and we can play. So instead of me nominating cars and you nominating Euro games, they nominate operas, case in point, and we both do badly. So that's a valid function. If they're playing on Twitch and it's only a second's lag, it might be possible. I mean, they've got to type fast, but you could allow a couple of extra seconds to a Twitch to some. Yeah, I see your point, though. It's difficult.
I just feel like, any of the L-Deck games that we've played, well, not all of them, but certainly Micro Muckle, Mini Muckle when we played that, 3 MELL, 4 MELL, 5 MELL, and 5 MELL is possibly my favorite right now, I've got to say.
I do like it. But, I mean, I don't think both Thursday games have to be...
Not to mention Giftable and Say Anything, and How Much Money, all of these are things that, a couple of seconds doesn't matter too much, and people can just jump in with stuff, and it feels very interactive. But
I mean, concentration can be played for 2 minutes, or it can be played for 10 minutes. So if we were going to play an extended hand of Say Anything with 6 players, for example, it takes longer because you go around once or twice. So we could totally play an hour and a half of Say Anything and 15 minutes of concentration. And the fact that the audience don't participate for that too much is, I don't think, as important to my mind.
Yeah, let us know what you thought of concentration. If you're watching, let us know what you thought of it. We're always interested in hearing. I would be interested to play it again, just for the sake of playing it. If Kenechukwu is able to come on the stream and actually bring the cards along, I'd be interested to see what's on the cards. I mean...
Yeah, me too, because as I say, that's always the interesting thing, is how precise are they and how closed or open other topics could be quite...
Because... I was having this discussion about content creation. That notion that I'm a content creator because I did an internet radio show and now I stream and I sometimes review stuff.
Yeah, you create media that people view.
Creator, because to me, content creator is so imprecise, And board game content, to me, is the content is like the assets, like the content of, it's like, okay, are you making the rules or are you making the content for a game? Like for something like concentration, the exact topics, that's the top content. For Trivial Pursuit, the questions, or for Wits and Wagers, the questions, same for Say Anything.
I have a view on it, which is it's a term, in my opinion, used by corporations. If you're, and again, I appreciate we're going out on both of them, so I will, I won't say anything that could cause too much trouble. It is in the interest of YouTube and Twitch and all the rest of it. They see their product as YouTube or Twitch, right? So to them, you are a content creator. You are one of several billion people or million people on the planet who make videos. And as far as they're concerned, you are creating content for them, because the product that they put out to market is they want eyeballs to watch the screen, to watch the adverts, so that they make money. You're making content that brings people to their portal to watch on their portal, not somebody else's portal. So again, for you, I mean, interestingly, because you cross stream, you're an interesting product. But say if you are name a famous ninja, fine.
I mean, you could, yes. I mean, and
he is a content creator for a single place, and they see that as content. But I suspect Ninja doesn't see it as content. Ninja sees it as the Ninja Show. So content is a poor word. I mean, to my mind, it's media creation. You know, because I mean, am I a content creator?
Is watching on YouTube, and David Brain. Sorry, you're right. The actual games when we played that. Oops. Sorry, I think I just froze up for a second there.
Yeah, no, you're back. You Dopplered and you're back.
For about 1 second. But basically, we played 1 round of concentration. Then we played 2 rounds of 5 MELL. Then we played like a quick 3 rounds of concentration. And I like it. And for me, a party game like this, it is all about the content. I mean, Trivial Pursuit, I am going to posit it has terrible rules, but a game of Trivial Pursuit which has good enough questions is still worth buying.
Right.
Now,
I mean, look at Monopoly too. The core game of Monopoly is
game.
Yes.
But that's a different situation. I don't think that reskinning it really counts as content. I'm talking more like, if we look at a new game, something like Top Tails, which you've enjoyed.
Yep.
Top Tails, it's a solid set of rules, but fundamentally, can you hear me again?
Yeah. It's going ever so slightly laggy. You're fine. You're coming across fine.
If it goes on.
Yeah, don't worry. It's just taking a little pause every second. It's fine.
Okay, great.
But yes, Top Tails, the questions are the content.
So yeah, with Top Tails, it's like the reason to buy that game is that it's interesting questions. That there are questions that aren't too painful for people to answer, but are still going to elicit some somewhat personal stories. And that is a skillful thing, right? That takes thought. It's something that I could do probably, but if I had to come up with 200 questions, it would take me maybe a couple of days. And maybe it's worth me paying, 20 quid or whatever in order to get those questions that it would take me a couple of days to come up with.
Those games always, and this is one I subvert, and I'm aware I subvert it, because I, as a consumer, don't play a lot of family games. My gaming groups that I play with are all adults. In some cases, they're adults who have fairly liberal views on various things, and effectively, most of them will play a quote-unquote after dark edition of just about anything. You know, if they're allowed to pick the questions, something dirty will come up eventually. And that's not a problem in those settings because everybody agrees to play on those bases. But if I was playing with kids, I would place a much higher value on a curated deck because I need to know that it's going to be age appropriate. I can't just rely on my 3 mates coming up with silly questions, because hilarious as they are to us 3, they're not going to be appropriate for that setting. So for an environment where you want a curated structure, those products are very valuable and I see the value. I won't buy many because I'm equally happy just sitting down with a bunch of mates and a pizza and a bottle of something and playing the same game with very few limits. Now, interestingly, Cards Against Humanity is the outlier there. Cards Against Humanity have done a very good job of selling you a product that allows you to play an unlimited adult game. Now, how they've managed that, I don't know. It's because you have to use the cards. It's because you can't just make up a random word. You have to. You've got 6 options to make something funny, and then the skill becomes pandering to the judge and which of these 6 cards is funnier. But yeah, I think those, and that's why those games. Case in point, why do you see those games selling at that age category, but you don't see many of them of an adult variant? Because the adults can make their own version.
There's an interesting point there about the commercialization of games versus the folk style. I mean, if you think about lots of improvisation games, once you start specifying the content to it, then it becomes less of a folk game and it's more, you know, let's look at Medium, which is not that far away from an improv game, which so many people have played. But Medium adds cards to it and it's slightly different. Let's look at my own, you know, L deck. And last year there was something by Jessica Eccles, I want to say. That was, it was sort of a categories game, and the idea was that we were meant, part of the rules
Still got you.
was come up with your game. Okay, cool. And categorical, as part of categorical, I you know, started navigating what are the things that you can play. And so for researching what are some good topics, some of them might be things that people might not have thought of on their own. Like I'm quite proud of the neither letter thing, which kind of subverts the whole game. Now, instead of using a food that starts with an A or an L, or a food that's like ice cream or linguine.
Lasagna.
Now you've got to come up with something that's 9 of these cards, like a snack, dirty or a name.
Yeah, and it requires you to think in a different way.
Something that did require the logic. And even within the stuff that is a bit more normal, I am proud of the fact that, places, it's a big thing. Whereas people who are a bit more specialist, who are working in geography, maybe they're students of geography, they might say, okay, places in France, or they might say now places in Germany or places in Italy. And I played a game where 2 people were playing categorical, I don't know if I told you about this, and said MAC products, as in the cosmetics company.
Right, okay.
Because, as it happens, they both work for that cosmetics company. So they were both
between those two, it's a fair contest. Between if they deal you into the hand, it's a completely pointless. Oh, it's not a pointless contest, but it's an unfair contest. And again, this is where nominate the difference between playing the game we're playing. Concentration. If we nominate the categories, we can pick categories to our own strengths. If they're drawn from a deck, it's randomized. So there's always going to be, and hence my suggestion of if the audience pick them. If we play on the Thursday and the gig is that the audience pick the categories, then it could trigger some interesting outcomes.
You know, it's been a weird evening because we normally kind of play games and then tonight I was like, okay, let's stop basically shortly after 9. And here we are, 40 minutes later.
Game theory and yes,
I think that it is time to wind down. And I want to, bring it to a close if that's okay with you, Andrew.
Yeah. I might have a quick chat with you afterwards, off the camera, as it were, or rather off the public to the entire internet.
Chat to you. I do need to send an email to you, and who else? You, Andrew Dennison, David Brain, Paul Mansfield, Tom Cauldron, Layla, and Chris, I've decided are the LDEC judges if they choose
Apparently
to be.
so. Yes, I think I can probably manage that.
And Jason Hodgson.
Yes, you probably need an odd number for reasons.
Nah, I've got the final say.
Yeah, that's fine. seems fair. Seems fair.
Honestly, yeah, my whole just because we've been rambling and because David Brain, I believe, is still watching. The idea is basically Chris, Layla, and I are going to play all the games free player next week on stream, and I will request that any judge do not watch this stream. And that is very important.
Because this is a 10 a.m. stream?
Pardon?
Is this one the 10 a.m.
Not to 10 a.m.
Oh,
not to 10 a.m.
Not any of the regular slots. An additional. Okay, cool. That's fine.
This is an additional one.
Yep.
So I'll mark it clearly as LDEC Design Contest something. So you will know what you're getting into, but please don't watch it because in the room to Chris and Layla, I'm not going to say the name of the designer and I'm not going to, but on the show, just to give them due credit, XATE said that I don't need to because they've already signed a box that says I can do whatever I want with that idea technically, but it still feels wrong. I feel like it would be nice if I did have a banner at the bottom that said, this is that, blah, 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 by this person. And I had one of those for each of the games. And I feel like that is giving due credit.
Either that or you... Again, because presumably if you're going to have an announcement stream, the other way I guess you could do it would be play it blind and don't announce it the first time and just present them as games. And then once you make the award, then you just credit the games in that one and you just say, so the winner this year is this. Thanks to...
is that if I play it on live stream, then that gives the designer an opportunity to listen in or to watch over after the fact. And they can say, hey, that's correct or that's wrong. Hey, David.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. But they would recognize their own game without a credit, would be my...
Oh, yeah. So basically, but anyone watching the stream will see comments pop up, potentially.
Oh, yes. Yeah, with you.
And so I want to, for example, if I'm going to use a fake name, if Anagliasa... So let's say Anagliasa. I don't know if
Anagliasa. Thanks for that. You couldn't have gone with Dave by any chance.
Well, I guess David's pretty nondescript. There are multiple Dave. But no, Anagliasa.
Anagliasa, who has submitted a game.
If Anagliasa has submitted a game, then I believe that Anagliasa will basically buy us streaming that initial thing. That's a service to Anagliasa. Because Anagliasa is seeing how their game gets played by other people. They're getting at least the feedback from myself and Chris and Layla. So even if after that we decide, okay, your game was the 16th best, by which I mean the worst of the year.
Have we got 16 entries, have we? Grief.
Technically, there's 16 eligible entries. And 2 that are technically ineligible. So I'm probably going to mix the 2 ineligible ones into the mix.
I can test anything that's 1 or 2 player.
And I might even invent another ineligible one myself just for a red herring. Because that's what I did last year.
I can judge anything that's 1 or 2 player. I have a supply of 1 player and I have a supply of 2 players. So there you go.
But you cannot play any free player games.
Not unless we find some way of doing it via this format. No. On a tabletop, I only have me and Loz for now.
I am hoping that, someone like David Brain might be able... Hi, David.
Just randomly, just arbitrarily mentioning David Brain, just happens to be.
Might be able to, depending on how I feel, since David's up, maybe I should just ask David if I could chat after this.
Rather than just randomly, indirectly, just sort of insinuating until they gave in.
I was going to talk about like potentially if David felt comfortable. My housemates, I think, are at the point where I could bring someone else over, and David could play with us at the point where I've decided, okay, these 6 are clearly terrible, because I'm sure that after I play the games, some of them are going to be bad. And David Brain enjoys being talked about, apparently.
Does he? Okay, I hear David Brain's a great guy. I mean, I'm only going on this. I mean, to be fair, I'm assuming David Brain is a guy from the name. So, assumption there on my part. Apologies. If David is a they are welcome to tell me they're a they. So, then again, I use guy non-genderedly. That's one I should probably stop. But I've always, there you go. There's another detour we can go down. Folks.
Oh my gosh. And it's already 10 o'clock. We've basically been wittering about unplanned stuff for basically an hour on a day when it's meant to be the Tuesday trials. But this is the way it can always go.
I mean, basically, we could do this in 10 in the morning, apart from the fact you can't get me out of bed at 10 in the morning, and when you can, I'm at work. So this is basically the Andrew Dennison 10 o'clock session. Just my version of 10 o'clock is now.
It's always 10 o'clock somewhere.
It's always 10 o'clock somewhere.
It's 10 o'clock in the UK now. It just happens to be 10 p.m.
So, yes, I'm happy to whittle on many things. It's amazing I haven't actually got something decently published by now, because I find all this fascinating and will talk game theory quite happily for a very long period of time, but I'm just not blessed at actually turning anything into a product myself. There you go.
Well, I mean, you do also have to pay a lot of attention to other stuff where, for all the grief that I've talked about with a supermarket job, the nice thing about a supermarket job is that when it's something that doesn't take that much mental effort, when I was working, moving about flowers and selling flowers or cutting up meat and marinating it and doing that and cooking prawns on a professional basis. Oh, and I got to eat the prawns on a professional basis. That was the best part.
Terrible. Sounds awful. How did you cope?
But the point is that it left me space to think about these things when I was moving back and forth. And although having said that,
I lack. Yeah, I have historically had jobs like that.
I do have the mental energy. Because, yes, I can go to a Friday. I could go back in the day when Friday daytime playtests were a real thing. I could go there and I could have a deck of playing cards and basically in the shower be like, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to brainstorm this idea. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to have my breakfast. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to cycle. I'm going to ponder the details a bit more, and by the time I got down, I would know what I was doing and quickly make something and have something ready to play. And that's something I did occasionally. But doing that, it's not just about how long does it take. Just because I can think of a game in 20 minutes one time, and I invented Extendable it was basically done in 2 hours. But that was a particularly
the prototype of Alphabetical.
That doesn't mean I can do it 12 times a day, obviously.
No. I mean, any creative process, that's the constant. If your job is pour drinks, you can keep pouring drinks as long as there is stock on the bar to pour drinks from.
But even that takes energy.
Yes, you eventually become a bad barman because you lose interest in your customers, and therefore you're less likely to sell drinks. And there's a skill to every job, of course there is. But objectively, some jobs are more repeatable.
I think repeatable is the word.
Yeah, I can make this component the same way 78 times an hour. Eventually you'll get bored and you might slow down, but you can do that. But yes, you couldn't invent 78 games in a day because you ran out of ideas, and it's. Yes,
and
case in point, I have a very
32 million hits on Google, so it's not even just a word, but it's a very common word. Whereas, for 'hittable' is a word, but there's 347,000 hits. And this is a kind of thing
we need to know.
Which I'm sure that David Brain is very aware, because David Brain is very smart in those ways.
I mean, I'm arguably smart, although I don't necessarily believe that. But, I wouldn't have known that statistic, had you not told me it. So, that's the thing. But yes, you're right, though. I have a very cerebral job, and therefore I don't have a lot of mental energy a lot of the time to put into creating games or content or so forth. Again, things I would like to do if I could get my business to the point I could have more time for side gigs would be more on that sort of thing. Yeah, that's life. Aspirations and things, pay bills, then do extra stuff. So yeah.
Anyway,
we should stop talking to all the people on the planet and talk to each other.
Forward to hopes and ambitions.
Oh, we did that. We did that. No, I'm going to a social on Friday.
We did this.
No, I gave you on. I said I've got a social on Friday. I'm going to. It's socially distanced. That was it.
Okay, I've got mine. Andrew can ask David.
What have you done then, Bez? What are you looking forward to?
And ambitions, it's over to you for the final section. So I invite everyone to say, what are you looking forward to? Even if you're not willing to share, I mean, it could be something you're looking forward to doing tomorrow, because, I mean, the day's pretty much over, or maybe you're a night owl, maybe you've got many hours left. Maybe it could be something you're looking forward to doing tonight, or maybe you're in another country. It could be within the next 24 hours. It could be within the next week. It could be just after lockdown finishes. What are you looking forward to? And what are your hopes and ambitions? I'm going to say that I am looking forward to... Oh, you know what? I'm going to watch tonight, before I go to bed, a wee episode of Dave Gorman. Modern Life is Goodish. Dave Gorman has been releasing these on every Wednesday on YouTube, and I am a few episodes behind. So I'm looking forward to watching an episode. That is what I am looking forward to. I'm also looking forward to possibly reading a couple more of the LDEC game rules. I've read 8 of them so far out of the... Well, 16. I've reread 8 out of the 16. Yep. Because I read quite a few of them when they first came in, but now I'm reading them in reverse order, making a couple of notes for myself so I can kind of teach them and remember them more easily. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm hoping this is like I'm hoping that tomorrow I'll be able to improve on the categorical deck design, because I need to change the suits so they're a bit more consistent. I'm not sure whether I need the curved bit on the sides, if you know what I mean. I think I do, but I don't. But then the triangles don't quite lend themselves to giving it a curved outline. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think it's a problem either way. The only requirement of the suit is that it's distinct from the other suits, right? It's not. There's no other requirement. Some of them could have curvy edges, some of them could have straight edges.
Some of them are a line, and some of them are like more of a oval. That sounds like a bit weird.
No, go to the other extreme. Make them all different. If you can't make them all the same, make them all different.
Like make 3 of them a line, 3 of them very rectangular. No, the only problem with that is that then the numbers won't match up, because I was going to do the numbers cut out of exactly the same shape that these are. Do you know what I mean?
Numbers as in the numbers in the top corners.
Yeah, like, no, the numbers are now all over the background.
All over the background. I mean, again, it doesn't matter, as long as they're distinct. I don't think it matters, as long as you can clearly see all of the information you need to each card.
I don't like the numbers going behind the pattern. You can't see it super well here, but...
Yeah, I mean, okay, so you've got to have approximately the same area.
David Brain is looking forward to going on holiday.
Ooh, where are we going, David? Are we leaving this landmass or not?
Well, to meet the family. We're going
I don't know where David Brain's family lives. So I am still ambiguous. This suggests it's more likely they're staying on this landmass.
Something that David Bray might not want to share publicly.
This is true, and therefore they are perfectly entitled not to. So I merely pontificate for interest and something. I mean, that's what you say, right? When people say I'm going on holiday, you say, "Where are you going?" That's it's like as British is talking about the weather. It's the correct social response. I'm going on holiday. Oh, lovely. Where are you going? I've just had a child. Oh, right. Which gender? What are you calling them? There's certain scripted words that we just.
That's wrong. Yeah. But if you want to find me for some reason on the internet, if you've watched to the end of this show and you still don't know where you can find me, oh my gosh. But I am stuffbybez.bigcartel.com, where you can buy my stuff. Twitter.com/stuffbiz is where I post a lot. Instagram.stuffbybez, I post occasionally, just pictures. Twitch.tv/stuffbybez is the best place to watch my streaming. Facebook.com/thingsbybez, that's a place. Stuffbybez@gmail.com is my email address if you wish to ask me stuff. And you can tell me, oh wow, David's going to a foreign country.
That was what caused me to giggle. I'm not sure whether the Welsh are going to take that well, but we can ask Jess. Jess can opine on whether Wales is a foreign country. She's qualified.
To recap, I think that 5MELL worked fairly well.
Yep.
I think that what we're going to do is that instead of skipping letters, you're just able to have infinite rows. Why not?
Yep. Yeah, that way you've got the option of and that gets you around the problem of closing out a row in a silly way, putting yourself on an unwinnable word or a very unlikely word. You just got the option to work on something else. So yeah, I think that'll work. And it needs a new name. Still think it needs a new name so that it's not 3, 4 mil, 5 mil. But I may be wrong, but yeah, that's just my assumption. Yep, and we liked concentration. Bez is scrolling. At this point, I don't know if we're still here. If everybody's still here, David, can you still see us? Bez appears to have dropped into the black hole of circles.
Oh,
is Bez back?
Can you hear me now?
I can. Yes, you're back. You're good.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I've got you. Can you hear me?
So I'm still not convinced if 4MELL is a thing. I feel like 3MELL is definitely a thing. I can see an argument for 4MELL, but let's see what games are in the MELL series before we.
I'll give you that one. Yeah, that's fair. Yes, it's only because of there's a continuation.
We had a good time with it. We also had a good time with concentration. And for some reason, Casey wasn't able to join us. I mean, I'm having trouble with the internet, and I'm only in London, which you'd think is a fairly civilized place. But
I mean, it's
not
London.
civilized
I wouldn't go that
enough
far.
to have perfect internet. Never mind.
I mean, I'm in the wastes, and my internet's working just fine. So make of that what you will. Yes. We should do that thing where we stop talking to all the people.
I want to say thank you to. I want to say thank you to everyone. I want to say thank you to Prey, and thank you to not those people, but this person who is not a cheater, Mac Rentafal. I want to say thank you to David Brain, who is always a lovely person. And yeah, hopefully we will get to see each other.
Indeed.
And yeah, most importantly,
Ooh, and Bez has dropped into a hole again. We apologize, viewers. If you are indeed viewing me at this point, Bez will be back momentarily. David, if you're still there, if you want to tell us if you still see the stream, then by all means do so. That may be useful to know. In the meantime, Bez would like to thank XATE, I suspect. I'm just going to fill in here because I'm assuming I'm live.